start with, I'm Pat Duboise. I'm the Director of Grants for Mercy Care, which is a federally qualified health center in Metro Atlanta. We provide medical care, behavioral health care, dental care, support services for people who are experiencing homelessness, people who are uninsured, recent immigrants, really people who have basically nowhere else to go. And across 14 clinic sites, we serve about, no, I'm sorry, 11 clinic sites. We serve about 15,000 people a year through about 60,000 visits. I manage a grants team of there 2.5 of us, and we manage. It's a portfolio of about $8 million in grants, federal, corporate, private foundations. So, and I've been there 17.5 years. It'll be 18 years in November. So how I got into grants. So, and I'll go a little bit further back than I may have in the statement I sent you. So in college, right after college, I got a job with a state agency as a grant administrator, and was there for about 4 or 5 years, decided to leave there, went into something that was totally not right for me, and had to regroup. And so I ended up volunteering with one of my grantees when I was with the state. And she said, you know, well, you can manage grants, you can write grants. And she was right. So I did that with her for about 6 months, and then actually got a full-time job as a grant writer with a rural hospital outside of Atlanta, a place called Carrollton, Tanner Medical Center. And the executive directors, I mean, she really just took a chance on me. And I was there for a couple years. And so that's when I really got my feet wet in terms of writing grants, and knew that, you know, after a short time, I knew that that's really what I wanted to do. But yeah, it was definitely a sort of, you know, I just kind of fell into it. Was there for a couple of years, then went to the Atlanta chapter of the Red Cross, American Red Cross. Was there for a couple of years, then went to the Atlanta Symphony. So quite a pivot, but still writing grants. Enjoyed working with the arts, was there for 5 years. And while I was doing that, I started doing freelance work for Mercy Care. And so when a full-time position came open, that's when I moved over to Mercy Care. And like I said, I've been there since 2003. Well, I started, my boss from Tanner sent me to the Grantsmanship Center, which has been around for a very long time, which I continue to recommend to folk. It was where she got her training in grant writing. So I did that, I mean, many, many years ago. And since then have just, you know, various, you know, had various professional development opportunities. So I've done different training. But obviously, you know, when I found GPA in, I guess, 1999, 97, somewhere in there. I mean, I've been a member 20 years, so whatever, back that up. I think that's probably, since that time, since I discovered GPA, that's really been kind of my main source of training and ongoing professional development. Well, you know, it's funny because I don't think grant writing is surprising. I think people who don't write grants would find it surprising is how much time, well, just that of a team, it really is a team effort, and that I spend a lot of time waiting on information from other people. You know, I think people who don't write grants think that you just take the form and you just go and you fill it out and you pull it all together and you submit it and the money comes. And yeah, you know, I mean, it is just, it's not that easy. You know, I'd actually going through an RFP before I got on this call. and it's for a government grant, and there are probably 15 people I'm going to have to engage with to get this thing done. So I think that's just again, that it really is a team effort, that it really does involve, a lot of different people from a lot of different areas. It's just not, it isn't just like I said, take the form and fill it out and send it in. So I'm weird talking about a government grant. I like government grants. I just it's like I just enjoy, opening up that RFP and just seeing all the pieces and what is entailed to pull it all together. And 9 times out of 10, there's a very clear roadmap of what it takes to get it done. I think, with foundation grants, there's much more ambiguity. There's not, consistency. One foundation might want 1 page, another foundation might want 10 pages, that sort of thing. But with government grants, particularly if you're dealing with the same agencies over and over again, which is kind of what we do there at Mercy Care, I know what to expect. And so I that aspect of it. Is it exciting? Probably not for, a lot of people, but it's the part that I enjoy. I think I mentioned in my statement to you, one of the things that I've discovered since the pandemic is puzzles. And I mean, I started doing them once, we were shut down, and I hadn't done a puzzle in probably 30 years. But I would be embarrassed to show you the stack of puzzles that I've got in my house now. because, but it's just, and I realize it's the same thing, you just, you put it all, you got all your pieces there, and you got to put them all together. And once you've done, you got a great package. So. Yes, I think over the years I have had other grant writers that I've connected with, who, have supported me, who've guided me, who have just been there to bounce ideas off of, or just to, you know, oh my God, can you believe they asked this? Yes, girl, that kind of thing. It's, you need that. You need to have people like that. That's one of the things that I talk to when I talk to other people about, grant writing and giving advice. I always say, make sure you find your people, because I think that makes the road a lot easier. And in terms of mentoring, yes, I mean, I laugh because I started, um, let's see, how did I start? So I joined the mentoring committee for GPA. I guess it's been now 2.5 years ago. And just really enjoyed working with the committee to promote the Mentor Match program. And then after a year, I realized, well, I really need to be a part of the program. And so started that, got my first mentee last year. And I think now I have 3, which has just been great. It's just been a wonderful experience. And last month I became the chair of the mentoring committee. So to answer, the short answer is yes. I believe, and I haven't seen the job description recently, but it's a bachelor's degree is required, master's preferred, and no credential is required. Honestly, I think it was just, I think it just can all, working at the different agencies that I did, it all just continued to build on itself. And then being at Mercy Care, I think one of the things that I like about it is that, we get grants from so many different sources. So we get government grants, we get foundation grants, we get corporate grants. Um, Local government, state government. So just a wide variety of grants, which is just offers great experience. I've taught, I know of other professionals who, they only deal with foundation and corporation grants, or they only deal with government grants. But I think being at an agency that gets funding from so many sources has been really, that's really what's made me, I believe, a strong grants professional. The other thing is that we have also, the grants that we do primarily are for operating programming. But we've been involved in capital campaigns. I think we're just finishing up the third capital campaign that I've been involved in since I've been in Mercy Care. And that's a different animal. Primarily foundation corporation grants. But still, writing style may be a little bit different. The requirements may be a little bit different, but it's been great experience. So I think for me, it's really just, having been at an organization that just has such a wide breadth of funding sources has been really useful to me as a grant professional. I think it goes back to what I said earlier is finding your people. I think and I'm not just saying this because I'm chairing the mentoring committee, I really do believe in it. But I think for someone new, I think finding a mentor, finding someone not to coach you, not to teach you how to write a grant, but for somebody to be there as a support, as a guide to bounce ideas off of. I think that is, because so often we hear of people, new grant writers, who are just thrown into situations. And I think having somebody to listen and to bounce ideas off of is a good thing. Flip side of that, somebody who's been at it for a while. I think sharing that knowledge, supporting someone else, I mean, all the platitudes, reaching back, pulling somebody else up. I think it really does make a difference. And I think, a couple things that people don't realize. One, I don't think it takes as much time as people think that it does. And, if you've been at this for a while, you're qualified to mentor somebody. And I think what people don't realize is that they probably are often informally mentoring people anyway. So this is just an opportunity, and even it doesn't have to be GPA's mentor match program. It could just be, your own. You continue with an informal process, you find another program or whatever. But I think making those connections, I think, which is really, really important. Because the other side of it too is that you just, I just find you just never know where things might lead. So I think reaching out, making those connections is a great way to get things moving.